Peace, and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Big Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Allah. And we got royalty in the building. You understand what I'm saying? The essence of transformation, wellness, and health for our sisters out here. She healing our sisters and our families, one family at a time. It's my honor and privilege at this time to introduce and present to others. Her Majesty, Mrs. Abena Adu, is in the building. Peace and love to you, sister. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling?
I am grateful for this platform. I'm grateful to be speaking to you again. I'm so thankful to be on your YouTube channel. It's so special.
Yeah, yeah. You still trying to do a little something out here. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do a little something. Yeah. Um. So let's just get started. Let's start with a little introduction. Introduce yourself to the family and let them know this royalty you come from and what you do.
I am Abena Adu, also known as the craftswoman. I am originally from Dallas, Texas. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia in 2011. I mean, in 2000, no, 1999 to 2011, and back in Dallas, Texas. And I'm also in Houston, Texas. And I still travel back to Atlanta. So, I am a doula trainer, a certified doula, certified yoni steam practitioner, certified womb yoga instructor, and this year I got certified to be an assistant midwife. So I'm just in the childbirth arena and into womb wellness. I got started into the birth industry after the birth of my child in 2008. Yeah, 2008. After I found myself in the hospital alone. It wasn't planned that way, but I was in the hospital alone without anyone. I thought I was good. I had someone who was a birth worker who asked me, she asked, could she come with me? And I was like, oh, no, I'm good. The people that I thought were going to be there wasn't there. And I found myself in a very vulnerable state. I had a vaginal birth, but still things didn't go the best way it could have. So other women were telling me that they were having C-sections and they were just wondering how was I able to have a vaginal birth being my size, being so small. And, I had a quick birth, had my child in 4 hours. So I just started to naturally help them. I breastfed easily for almost 2 years. And I decided to get certified to become a doula. After becoming a doula, I thought that I was going to get all these women telling me that they were wanting someone to help them during childbirth, but instead I got a lot of women telling me that they were bleeding for weeks, and a lot of women were having infertility issues and fibroids and miscarriages. So that's when I started to study and about the yoni semen. So I got certified for that. And that's just pretty much the start of my womb wellness journey.
Did y'all get all of that? Do y'all see that this is the thing lady out here? You understand what I'm saying? This is the thing lady that is not speaking from a place that she is detached from. Her longing for this particular service was based off of her own personal experience. So now she extends from that space of service to help you through this process because this is a process. This is not an event. They'd be like, "Oh, when the baby due?" You know how we do. "Oh, when the baby due?" "Oh, yeah. Oh, we gonna have the baby shower," and that's it. You see what I'm saying? That's the connection to the closest people to you. If you get that, you see what I'm saying. So, with the services that you're providing as a companion through this birth process is phenomenal. I know a few people that you know in this birthing industry. Let me correct my language to get it right. You understand? In this birthing industry, they don't have any regard for this process at all. It's a numbers game to them. It's financially lucrative. care if they kill you in the process. You see what I'm saying? So, what you're doing and the services that you're providing are phenomenal. So, can you take us through some of these, kinds of experiences? What should our women know? What should our sisters know? Our mothers, our loved ones. What should they know about themselves in this birthing process?
Okay, well, in the birthing process, it has become more known that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die than white women.
Mm.
I just hear it over and over like a broken record. Also, we have a very high infant mortality rate in the United States as it relates to melanated women. No matter what your economic status is, no matter what your religion is, no matter if you have insurance, Medicaid, cash pay, no insurance, it doesn't matter what type of financial situation that you're in, you are susceptible to basically birth injustice. And our infant and maternal mortality rate it's really a crisis, and it's not anything that we are really focusing on. I believe it's just like police brutality, just as important. Just because you haven't heard about someone being killed by the police recently, it doesn't mean it's still not happening. It's still, with our high rate, Black males being incarcerated, that's still a problem, whether it's being on the forefront or not. So the babies and the mothers dying as it relates to childbirth is a problem. And our rates in Texas has one of the highest rates. New York has one of the highest rates. Mississippi has one of the highest rates. And the rates are even worse than some so-called undeveloped countries in Africa, even with our specialized doctors, even with all of our fancy hospitals and our specialized equipment, we're still dying. So what women need to understand is don't birth without a doula. That is my hashtag. That is my motto, is do not go into that industry. Do not go into that journey without a doula, whether it's during your prenatal time. Some people just want it to be them and their partner. That's fine. But definitely postpartum, you will definitely need a doula. And a doula is just a support system, a support person. It's an ancient tradition. We have always been supported with people. Before we were allowed to be in the hospitals, we had a better chance of being alive. So we have to understand that. What I would like to stress is don't birth without a doula. Um, Also, I'm doing Doula Expos. My next Doula Expo is March 28th in Houston, and it's Don't Birth Without a Doula Expo, just to kind of like get that into people's heads that we need to honor these birth workers and get them on our team, get them to support us, get their advice, because just having that person there with you in the hospital can mean a difference of life and death, or just unnecessary complications, unnecessary cesareans. So many injuries happen. But if they see that there's another person in there, there's a possibility of a woman not being injured. So I just keep stopping because I don't want to go like on and on. I can go on and on.
I want you to go. Go ahead. You wrote the book. You had the
Yeah.
series going on. Let's stay in the lane. We flowing. Come on, let's flow with it.
Okay.
Flow. Let's flow.
So I wrote my book, the Dark Womb Redemption. It's a series, 4 books. So the first book is it's a guide to holistic womb wellness for Black women. I do share my child molestation story. I am a survivor, and I had to add that in there, not only for my own self-healing, but to be of a testimony to somebody that you don't have to let some traumatic experience get you down. And also that is the cause of a lot of womb trauma, and that's a whole nother show about sexual abuse just being looked over in our community as a result of conditioning through slavery and things like that. So that book, I wrote that book. Also, I started talking about fibroids and hysterectomies and things like that. because I started to do the womb wellness workshops, and I just kept printing off like all of this paper. And I just didn't realize that there were so many things that women didn't know. So another piece to this is we are basically being sterilized with having unnecessary hysterectomies. And when I would just study all of this information, I would just cry. And it just got to a point where I was like, you know what? I just want to deal with childbirth. I know that that's heavy too, but it has, I don't know what website it is, but it is known that if a woman is getting a like, if it's not life threatening, which in a lot of cases is not, if she's getting an unnecessary hysterectomy before the age of 40, that is a form of sterilization. So I even have, I mean, I can, every time I go out to vend, just about every time I am going to meet someone who says, I wish I knew you before I got my hysterectomy. Or women are like, oh, my fibroids are so bad. I was bleeding so much I had to get a hysterectomy. Oh, I wish I would have knew you before then. And, you know, all of these different things. So, and women think that, okay, you get your hysterectomy, then everything is okay. There's also side effects with hysterectomy, such as heart disease, gallbladder issues, incontinence, sexual problems, maternal issues, saying that they don't, it's, I mean, it's so many, depression, it's so many different issues with women getting all of these hysterectomies. And now when we talk about hysterectomies, we have to talk about them being donated or not donated. They're actually being implanted into women who are not Black, women who they get uterine implants. And when I start to tell women this in my womb wellness workshops, they just thought I was crazy when I said that women like in I don't know if it's Sweden or Switzerland. So it's anyway, it's another country outside of the US. They're getting uterine implants and they're having 1 to 2 children and then getting the uterus taken out. So, and then we can talk about the large number of Black women that are becoming missing, organ trafficking. So it just gets really big. But hysterectomy is a big issue, and Black women are known historically to be like fertile goddess. Like we used to have 10 to 15 children, and you barely see women having a few children. And we have a lot of women suffering with infertility, and that used to not be us. So we have to look at the cause of infertility. A lot of times, or some of the times, women are getting surgeries, and let's just say they wanted to get a myomectomy for their fibroids, and then all of a sudden they're infertile. Embolizations, all these different things that they're getting that they're not infertile. And the unnecessary cesareans, that's also another way to make sure that you can't have a lot of children. I've been a doula for women who maybe had 3 cesareans, and the doctors tell them, look, you can't have any more children. And then the high rate of cesareans, which we feel like that's so normal to have that major surgery just to have a baby, to the point where women are getting elective cesareans because they have these horror stories and they feel like they just cannot push their baby out of their vagina, which is that's like normal, you know, that's what your body is really built for. You're more likely to have like different injuries and stuff. Your babies can get cut. You can have different injuries. These women, after they have cesarean, they're most likely less likely to breastfeed, and breastfeeding is a whole nother thing. So we celebrate Black Breastfeeding Week every year, the last week in August, and some sisters actually created that. And so I do different events also, but breastfeeding is a whole nother thing that we have to do because it's natural. Now, if you can't do that, that's a whole nother subject. But if you can, which most, even people who have had breast surgeries, all type of issues, they're still able, most likely, to breastfeed. So postpartum depression is another thing that we suffer from, and that's just, we are just stressed as being melanated people. When we wake up in the morning, you know, we stress. When the police get behind us as we're driving, that causes a great amount of stress. So when you have a baby, whether you have a spouse or not, it creates more stress. And too many times we are not surrounded with that support. So that's why, I reiterate and preach, don't birth without a doula, because that doula should be there to help you, to make sure that you know how to manage your stress. And we also, I know everybody's into the baby reveal, gender reveals, baby showers, but we really need to be there for women after they have the baby. The whole journey is important, but after you have the baby, women are a lot of times feeling very neglected, very pressured to get back to work without healing themselves. So it is recommended, that you rest for 6 weeks. A lot of women are going back to work in a few weeks. That's not good for you to be separated from your baby. So in one of my books, in the Dark Womb Redemption series, I have a guide to a healthy pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum. I have a chapter on mommy money, and I talk about how you can make money at home exclusively breastfeeding. Because I stayed at home both times. Well, I was pregnant. I made sure to plan that time to where I wouldn't work physically the whole time I was pregnant, and then also having that time to where I can work, make money at home. And so I wouldn't be so stressed to get out and do the physical labor, because being a doula is physically laborious. I am a vendor. I vend a lot. That's physical labor. Standing up, carrying all that stuff in, loading that stuff in, that's physical labor. And that's not anything I should be doing 9 months pregnant, 6 weeks. So I recommend a woman at least save a year of healing. Not that you have to stay cooped up in the house the whole year, but that you take it easy, because although you may feel you have your energy back, your inside still needs to heal. You have any other questions?
I was letting you flow. I'm like, yeah. I was gonna ask about no. Yep. You answering all of these questions for real, for real, for real. Um, let's talk about these other two aspects of the services you provide, and let's go to your website real quick so that people can see all of this greatness that you got going on the website. I need everybody to go and support our sister, the crafts man over here. You understand what I'm saying? She is that one. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Go to the home page. I was already over there, you know, looking at some stuff. Yeah, quick. And for the people that are listening, we Dark Moon Redemption series, and we're gonna somebody gonna get the whole series. Somebody is getting the series. Somebody getting all 4 books in the series. So somebody lucky gonna get it. So I don't know. Somebody gonna get it. Out here in them trenches, making that drive in Dallas and Houston and setting up these shops and these pop-ups. You understand what I'm saying? She hiring folks. She being modest right now. You understand what I'm saying? She hiring folks. She is putting folks to work. You hear what I'm saying to you? She being modest, and she like, I ain't gonna tell about all of that, but I'm watching, I'm cheerleading, rooting, we celebrating, entrepreneurship, we celebrating, these restorative services that you provide and these reconciliation. You know what I'm saying? Walking people out of darkness into light, celebrating that. Can you see the website now? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So tell us about this doula training that you got. I see some
Okay.
online stuff. I see a whole bunch of stuff. Tell
Yes,
us about it.
I originally didn't want the doula training online. I actually started the doula training because a lot of people were asking me to train them, and I would just send them to other people training programs, and either they said they wanted me to do it, or they didn't like that program. So I was like, the next person that emailed me about this, I'm going to do it. But I had a lot of people saying that they wanted me to train them. So I actually had a location in Arlington, Texas, and one of my first training groups. Most of them were in Texas, but they didn't want to come physically. They wanted to learn online. So I was like, there's no use in me having this place and people still want to learn online. So being online, I'm able to reach other people, but I created a 5-week curriculum to equip people, qualify them, get them ready to be able to serve women before, during, and after pregnancy the way that I do. So I've noticed that a lot of other women who, go through other programs, they still come to me for continuing education. So this year I'm starting a one-on-one coaching program. So after they finish the 5 weeks online, I'm going to be meeting with them once a month to make sure that they're doing everything right, because women have to understand, being a doula, you are an entrepreneur. So yes, you can work for the hospital, you can work for the birthing center, you probably can work for WIC, but most likely you an entrepreneur. You have to get out there and do your own advertising and get your clients. And being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not for everybody. And so sometimes they fall by the wayside, but I'm giving them everything that they need to help them be effective in eliminating this mortality rate that we have, and really being a support system, creating better birth income so that we can really make an impact on the world, because it's something, really big about, being with a woman during that journey. So it takes a certain person. So, I'm offering a lot of different things, my books, the history. We talk about the birth history in America, breastfeeding, vaginal steaming, herbs, complications, fertility issues, because I work with a lot of women with fertility, so they'll be able to just maneuver into all of the womb wellness arenas with the information that I'm going to be sharing, and it's live. It's not any recordings. Well, I do have recorded videos that I send them, and also recorded classes, but I am there live every week. If it's not me, it will be another certified person who is trained. So that's what we got going on as far as the online doula training. So the next one is
After this
February.
picture, real quick. Oh, go ahead. Tell the date. Tell the date. Tell them when it is.
After that one, the next one is going to be March 10th. If someone wants me to go to their city, I need about 4 people to go to the city, and then it'll be like in the weekend, which I don't really like doing it all in the weekend, because I feel like you cram everything in the weekend, and this stuff is very deep, it's very intense. So I like to give them the information in a week, and then we come back the next week, and then there's homework assignments. Like, we really get in there and learn some stuff.
Y'all got homework. Y'all hear me? Y'all got homework.
Book reports.
Reports. That's right. I wanted to show this picture right here, and I want you to take your belt off and whoop some brothers real quick. Whoop us into shape. We here to take that whooping, okay? And tell us how vital and important we are in this process for us to have an understanding of what's going on. Okay.
It's very important that a man be there during the whole time, because honestly, the way that you treat a woman while she's pregnant, during the birth, after, it kind of stays with her pretty much forever. I mean, we can forgive, but we're not gonna forget. And it's so important, because the way that you feel about her, all of that love that you give her, is going to transfer into the love that she gives to the baby, and her feeling more supported, and making sure that she doesn't fall in that postpartum depression, and for the baby. This is just perfect. This particular birth was really easy because she had support. Her mother was there. Um, as you can see, the father is there and he's still in her life. They're still together. And, you know, sometimes people are not together when they conceive or maybe break up during that time. The same way you get them, that's the same like attitude you need to have during that labor, during that time. So you need to be there. The man needs to be there to support the woman, giving her getting up in the middle of the night for those cravings, rubbing her back, rubbing her feet. He needs to be financially stable to where she don't need to be worrying about money. So the finance part is extremely important, and their responsibility falls on the man more so while that woman is pregnant. And after she have that baby, she should not be trying to hurry up and get back to work. She should be at home breastfeeding, nursing herself, making sure that she's okay, because it's a matter of life and death, to be honest. And what happens to that baby, it affects them lifelong. You can, if the man is not there, that baby who grows up to be a human being could have abandonment issues. So I know that we put a lot of responsibility on the woman, but a lot of responsibility comes on the man, especially their financial part.
What she said. I hear you. Yeah, I definitely wanted to paint that picture right there because this was very, 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 very important right here. What about some advice for in a hospital situation like this? Home birth is ideal for many of us, but what about folks that have to go in the hospital? Can we talk about roles, responsibilities, awareness, for the family in regards to things that they should be on guard for and kind of looking out for? Because as you said, that high infant mortality rate, that high situation in regards to our sisters transitioning in that same process of one of the greatest experience in life. You see what I'm saying? So what are some of the things that you could share with us that are safeguards for people going into it, if you got
Yes,
to
and
go there?
for financial reasons, women want to go with the state insurance or the health insurance at the jobs, or they may be high risk. They may not be, it may not be approved for them to have the baby at home or in a birthing center, which that last photo that was done in the birthing center. Um, every woman should have a birth plan. And of course, if you have a doula, she's definitely going to help you with the birth plan. So within the birth plan, you're actually writing down what you want. Let's just say you don't want your mother-in-law in the room. You have to have that written. Let's just say you don't want vaccinations. You don't want the eye cream. You don't want epidural. You don't want Pitocin. You may want certain music playing. I've had drums being played when when a baby has came into the world. I've had like a whole tribe of people in there, and then maybe only me and the baby's father, or just me and the woman's mother, just whatever she wants. She needs to have it written down, typed up. You're supposed to have more than one copy. You're supposed to give one to the hospital, and most likely they're not going to read it. But that's your doula's responsibility to ensure that everything is going to be going exactly the way you want it to go. And another aspect is our placentas are being used for stem cells, different type of things going on with the placenta. Also cord blood banking. That's another thing that's going on with the blood that's being used from our babies. Our babies, you're supposed to actually, even if okay, so we have the lotus birth that some women are doing, which is a traditional practice where the woman keeps the placenta, she puts herbs on it, and she keeps it attached to the baby and let it naturally detach. And that's only for, mostly if you're staying at home because you don't want to be walking around carrying the bag. The purpose is for you to just stay at home. And that's another, that has different spiritual reasons and things like that. Some women are doing placenta encapsulation. Some women are offering the placenta to the earth, doing different rituals and things like that to it. Black women should be taking their placentas because they are being kept for, stem cells and different things like that. And that cord blood, you will see them cut the cord like immediately and get that tube and get the blood. And there is an article that I just shared, someone shared with me, that's talking about the different cures and stuff that the medical system has, discovered just from using the blood that comes from the babies after they're being born. But the downside of them cutting the cord too soon is it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. People can just go and Google research on your own delayed cord clamping. So you're supposed to cut the cord if that's the decision that you make after the cord starts pulsating, because it's going to improve the baby's overall immunity, respiratory issues. Also, cutting the cord too soon can also contribute to jaundice. I've heard of it being linked to autism, having the loss of iron. So your baby can get all of the nutrients that's needed from the placenta that it's been living on all the time while it's been in your womb. Inside your body. So we should be just actually noting everything that we want. If it's no vaccinations, because being vaccinated is an automatic procedure. They're just going to do it most likely without asking. Some women want to have skin to skin contact. Some women want to breastfeed. I did breastfeed. And even though I said my baby's breastfed only, they still gave my baby formula, but I didn't have a doula there. So that's the benefit of having you a good, assertive, educated doula who's going to make sure you get exactly what you want. Some women, like their babies can just be passed around from person to person. And it's like all these strangers in there. And I read this one book. It's about unassisted birthing. And it was basically saying that when you have intercourse, or you having a lot of people surrounding you in that room, so you should have that same type of space when you're birthing your child. So that's where we get, that's another dynamic with unassisted birthing, like having a baby the same way the baby was conceived. Because after you had a baby, you got all these strangers coming in there, holding your baby, looking at the baby's body, looking at your body, and babies being sexualized in the womb, after birth. That's a whole nother subject too.
So we on this other aspect right here of service you provide. I put a stop right here so we could just, bask in this greatness right here, and you can explain these other aspects of what you do right here.
All right.
This waist bead gangsterism that you got going on.
Yes, so I started making waist beads. Actually, it was kind of like business, just wanted to have another product with the service. And my spiritual mother told me to actually make the waist beads. I was getting them imported from Africa. But I know that some women don't like the kind that come from Africa. So I had to get to work and just learn how to bead. Nobody even taught me how. I just kind of just started doing it on my own, which is, it's ancient. Everything is ancient. We've been doing things with our hands. And I've always wanted to do stuff with my hands too. I have family that crochet, braid, and I can't do any of that. So I have me a meditative thing that I do with my hand, repetitive over and over again. So the waist beads is traditional, it's trendy. It has its deeper spiritual meaning. So that's what we're doing right now. I'm having distributors teaching women how to to actually make the waist beads themselves, also how to start their own business. I'm a wholesaler, so they can buy them in bulk from me and get them at a wholesale rate. I also, women have everything that I on my website is basically from what people have asked me. So I have been vending off and on since about, I guess, 2004 when I first started making candles, which I don't do that much anymore. They wanted to know, how do you vend? They complain about the vending price being this and that. So there's an actual science to vending. And so there's an online class that I teach about vending. I have a waist bead business class that teaches women how to start their own business. I do consultations for women with infertility, want to overcome womb trauma. Let me see what else is on the website. Doula Expo. Doula Expo is coming up. I think I covered every. Oh, I have a waist bead kit, a starter kit. So a lot of women don't know where to get the waist beads from, and I'm just trying to tell them where they can go in their area. So I have the waist beads. I ship to you, and all of my shipping is pretty much next day. I don't wait. I don't have a shipping day. I usually ship the next day. I'm just looking at what you have shown here. But yeah, I'm just really about educating women. So there's probably, I have a online mentorship too. There's women who have said they want me to mentor them. So I have that going on. That's one-on-one. And we're meeting face-to-face. Oh, I also have, thank you for doing that. I also have the yoni steam seats that can be made. It's custom orders. It's a wooden seat. So that seat can hold, I don't know, 300 pounds. It can hold the thicker, bigger women. Some seats cannot. I have my womb herbs. My womb herbs is for the vaginal steaming, for women to take for menstrual cramps. I used to have really bad menstrual cramps to the point where I could not even go outside my house, just be in pain, like since I was a teenager. And I just thought it was normal, but it's not normal. So these herbs help women who have menstrual cramps, helps you to not bleed so much, because a lot of women are bleeding so much to the point where they're wearing a tampon and a pad. I know you probably don't know about that, but women know. Women are wearing tampons and pads. That's a lot. And just bleeding so much. So the Yoni Steam blend is going to help. It's going to help you, you can use it as a vaginal steam also. You can add it to a bath, but it's going to help you with your menstrual cycles, with your libido, with lubrication, with vaginitis, bacteria, vaginosis, odor, hemorrhoids. It may help with PCOS. It may help with ovarian cysts, all different type of womb issues. And I have different memberships for people to get discounted services. So you can get a discount on the doula service. You can get, there's a couple of different memberships on the website. And I have private online and in-person classes for the different things that I do, and birth and postpartum packages. That's also on the website. And also I'm still doing private candle making classes, because I've been making candles since 2004.
As y'all can see, my sister got a whole lot of everything going on. You understand what I'm saying? So, getting close to that time. So let's talk about the events you got coming up. Let's talk about some, give the people some incentive of why they should be there, what's going on, what's happening, and give them some motivation. Why they need to be there, why they need to be tuned in, linked in, what's going on.
All right, so yeah, March 28th, we're doing the third Don't Birth Without a Doula event in Houston, Texas. March 28th at 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Shrine of Black Madonna. So anyone who is an advocate of women's health women's birth, postpartum, anything, you should be in the place. We're going to do another one in Dallas in May, and we'll speak about the other locations, the dates, and at a future date. So Don't Birth Without a Doula Expo. It's on Eventbrite. It's on my website. You can buy tickets there at craftswoman.com. Tomorrow I'm doing the first ever online waist bead auction. So women are going to be able to name their price for those who can't come up to my pop-up shops. You have to be a subscriber to my email list. So go to my website, craftswoman.com, and enter in your email address, and I send different specials and stuff like that to my email subscribers, so you can get some free webinars, free links. I'm also doing like different discounts and stuff like that. Let me see what else. Oh, I'm doing a pop-up on February 14th in Arlington, Texas. V-steams and waist beads. In Houston, V-steams and waist beads. Candle making class coming up in February. I'm at the Shrine of the Black Madonna on 1st and 3rd Saturdays from 12 to 6. If you want to come and meet me in person, if you want to come and see the waist beads, the soaps, the candles, the sage, and, you know, buy the books in person, and the womb herbs that I have also, that's something, a place that you can see me at on a regular basis. There's a couple of other places too where I'm at. So you can follow me on Instagram at craftswoman. But the best thing for you to do is to email me to stay up on the different events where I'm going to be at, all the different specials. And you can buy anything on my website with a 10% discount. And the promo code is Don't Birth Without a Doula. So use that promo code to get 10% off anything using the code Don't Birth Without a Doula. And you can like the page on Facebook, the Pregnancy and Womb Wellness Center.
All right. So closing remarks, acknowledgement, shout outs. Let everybody know one more time how to reach you, link you, and get with you and support you and all of that good stuff.
All right. So you can subscribe to my email list again. On the website, go to the contact page at craftswoman.com. I'm also on YouTube too. I have a YouTube page, The Craftswoman. You can subscribe to my YouTube page. I have a lot of short videos with answering different problems. I mean, different questions and solutions, things that I've heard, everything from fertility to childbirth. So the best thing to do is get on my email list and follow me on Instagram at craftswoman. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, for your attention, for your knowledge base, for that jewelry that you dropped on us, about the skillage that you possess. You see what I'm saying? Hope you ain't a stranger. I'll be around. This is your home. You can always come here, drop some jewels, drop some gems, and whatever you want to promote, whenever you got something to promote, or you just want to come hang, like, what up, Knowledge? How you? You understand what I'm saying? You just welcome. And you can have this, you can take this, upload it on your channel, use it for some marketing tools, whatever you need. All right.
Thank you so much. Peace and love.